So my name is Nicola Adkin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, if you're a working professional, a high performer, a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, but if you feel stressed, if you have anxiety, you have performance anxiety, you don't feel good enough, don't feel worthy enough, you feel like you're spinning your plates, this channel is going to help you. This is what I want to speak to you about, one of the subjects I want to speak to you about. I'm also going to speak to you about setting up your own business, moving out of a corporate career into a purpose-led business, and how that feels and how you can do it and how I'm doing it, and any part of that that can help you, I am happy to talk about. But let's talk about anxiety, because this was the reason that I left my career. This was the reason I left my 30 years in investment banking. This was the reason I didn't get where I wanted to get to. This was the reason that I had 5, nearly 6 nervous breakdowns. I spent time in hospital. I had a profound panic disorder. I had postnatal illnesses. I had, say, multiple episodes of anxiety, panic disorder, OCD, and 30 years on anti-anxiety drugs, now completely gone yay. So I want to speak to you about that, and I want to, because it is my absolutely delight to be able to fill you with the belief, instill a new belief in you that you can overcome your anxiety too. Now, obviously, as humans, we need some stress, we need a push, we need a motivator, we need a drive to push us forward, to move us on, absolutely. And we want to be excited, right? So we want to have a bit of excitement in our lives, a bit of a get up and go. We want to have a bit of hustle and a bit of excitement. But what we don't want is for that to become all-encompassing, for us to be struggling every day, for us to feel rubbish every day, for us to feel like we're just pushing every day, for us to feel like life is just hard, and then that becomes a place where we can't sleep, and then we can't eat, and where we lose weight, and then we pick up a lot of bad habits, right? So it's very easy when I describe it that way to see the difference between having a bit of excitement and fun in your life that drives you on, and you're creating in your business, and you're in your life, and you're living your life, and it's all good, and this is this place of flow. Or you're actually in a place of struggling, where you're just pushing and you're numbing with anything you can to help things feel better for you. So if you suffer with performance anxiety, if you suffer with a mental health illness, you are normally living in this place of struggle. So you're not just having an acceptable amount of stress in your life, you're living in struggle. And then you're kind of doing anything you can to alleviate this struggle in some way. And for a lot of people, that ends up being antidepressants. And like myself, you know, I took them for 30 years and was very, very grateful for them. But what a lot of research is showing us now, and what I learned from the Heart Math Institute, my work on stress, anxiety, and self-regulation, and also the hours and hours of work on the power of the mind-body connection, the power of the mind, and healing and self-growth and transformation, is although we have habits, we develop habits. Habits are not the be-all and end-all. Habits are not the reason that you feel anxious, okay? So obviously, if you have a drinking habit, and the more drinking you do and the more late nights you have, yeah, you're going to feel worse, yes. But actually, what is making you have that habit? So the external habits of drinking, of staying up late, of overeating, of over-exercising, of whatever you're doing to numb, overworking, is numbing, looking for a way to numb, is a response, a reflection of the internal chaos, the internal discord, the internal feelings of not worthiness, not good enough, and lack of self-belief. So the external habit is always a reflection of the internal state of being, okay? So this was massive, massive realization for me, because, and what I'd say to anyone who comes to work with me, who are mostly men, the first time I speak to them, I will say, none of this is your fault. None of it. At this moment in time, when you're coming to me for help, when you are crying out for help, if you go to a GP, you go to a coach, when you're asking for help, you're at a point where you don't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, that is when I will say to you, none of this is your fault. But then from that point, I will also say, but now you can take ownership, because actually reducing your drinking, getting more sleep is all fantastic, getting fitter is all fantastic, but what we really need to do is work on the inner game. It's the inner game that drives the outer game. So what we want to do now is take you away from worrying about the external and work on the internal, and we work on the mindset and the inner being and the inner part of you, and that inner child that maybe didn't get what they needed when they were younger, even in vitro. It could be an inner child that didn't quite get what they needed, which has grown into a young adult with maybe a bit of anxiety, which has grown into another adult that didn't feel good enough. And then we can have anxiety that rolls through time. And a lot of research has been done on this. And a lot of people that have taken anxiety drugs have said, actually, it's the belief in the working that creates the healing, in which case, if I just believe in myself, then I'm probably creating my own healing. So a lot of what's happening in your external world is not your fault if it's not working, but the chaos and confusion is a reflection of what's happening in the internal world. So when we turn it around, which is what I will be speaking to you a lot about in this channel, is working on the inner game, and then the inner game is going to create everything in your external world. Everything in your external world is going to fall in line with the harmonious internal world, is going to fall in line with the harmonious external world. It's all about how you feel. It's all about how you feel about you. How you feel about yourself. If you love yourself and love your life, then life is going to love you back. And if you're anything like me and you absolutely love the idea of getting on to eventually just raising yourself up and raising your frequency to a place of when you get to that point, anything in your life is just going to be yours, then this is the channel for you. So firstly, thank you for being here. I'm going to be helping you raise your inner game. I'm going to be helping you to de-stress and to stop feeling so guilty about being anxious, and give you lots and lots of ways to improve it and reduce it and overcome it. We're not going to remove it completely, no, because that wouldn't be healthy. We need it. It's a survival mechanism. But what we want to do is live a happy and fulfilled life. We want to live a life where we are enjoying every minute, where we feel excited, where we feel worthy and good enough, and that's what I'm going to help you do. The first thing I'm going to help you do is suggest you look at your tech usage. I suggest right here, right now, if you are anxious, you could be addicted to your phone, you could be addicted to caffeine, you could be addicted to a lot of things. The first thing I'll do is check out your social media usage, reduce it. Reduce your social media usage, reduce and be really selfish about how much time you are spending on your phone, how much time you're spending on scrolling, how much time you are spending on commenting, consuming a lot of things. Have a think about how much time you're spending doing that. Bring in some boundaries on tech usage, bring in some boundaries to consuming. All of this information that is coming through your phone is absolutely bombarding your senses. It's like sensory overload. Create some boundaries between you and that. I cannot tell you how beneficial this is for calming your central nervous system. We want to calm your central nervous system down, because when you have a lot of anxiety over time, your central nervous system gets fried. Eventually, it just your anxiety becomes a habit. It becomes its own chaotic, subconscious internal program. So the first thing we want to do is reduce tech usage, and below this video there is a link to my 7-day digital detox plan to help you do that. It's not complete decoupling from tech, because that would be completely unrealistic, and if you are running your own business or you are a professional, you're not going to want to do that. But it's just going to help you bring in some practices to help you have some curfews during the day, just to bring in some boundaries. Okay, bring in some boundaries between you and your tech. That is below. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and I have an offer to give you in that. So thank you for being here. Let's calm that central nervous system down. realise that it's not your fault, none of this is your fault, but now you know we can do something about it. Let's go.